Hello guys, this is JustSomeTechie. I welcome you all to my first video on this channel. Well, kinda. I used to make different videos under a different name, but let's pretend this is a blank canvas to start something new. So what better way to kick off my content creation comeback than with a full breakdown of my ultimate minimal desk setup for 2025. This is my main productivity and gaming space, and I'll take you through everything, why I chose what I did, what I like, and what I would change. So without further ado, I present to you my ultimate minimal desk setup. To kick things off, let's focus on the desk itself. This is the FlexiSpot E6 Essential Adjustable Standing Desk. This version is 60 inches wide by 30 inches deep with a white frame and a bamboo desktop. I know some of you might mention cable management, and while I don't have a PhD in cable management, I think overall I did a decent job, though I would absolutely make it tidier if I could. At the very least, it's not like my previous desk setup where the surge protector was on the floor and it looks like a mess. So hey, in comparison to that, it's a night and day difference. For the most part, you kinda have to intentionally seek out the cables to see them. But regardless, I'm open to suggestions for what to do better on. Underneath the desk, I have a Govee 16-foot light strip. I only got this light strip recently and applied it, but it's plenty bright, and while I don't think I did the best job of applying it, I don't think you can tell otherwise, and that's all that matters. I've had this desk since July 2024, and so far it's a solid desk. It's not the cheapest, but you're also not sacrificing a kidney on a standing desk. Save that kidney for a 5090, you're gonna need it. So why a standing desk? Standing desks help with burning extra calories, lower blood sugar levels, less back pain, and having more energy, especially if you spend hours editing or gaming. Plus the presets let you switch between sitting and standing without fiddling with buttons. A game changer to switch things up if you're tired of sitting. If you're interested, I'll leave a link to everything I use in my setup in the description. The chair I use is the Grubrilli Ergonomic Office Chair. I've had this chair for 3 years, and while comfort-wise it's okay, these armrests aren't that great. They can clearly get dirty quickly, and they're a harder plastic. Then again, this chair is roughly $200, so I wouldn't expect no Herman Miller quality out of this. I do appreciate the mesh back, as I don't want a typical copy and paste gaming chair like you tend to see everywhere. If I upgrade, I'd go for a chair with better materials and even better back support, but for now it does the job. Overall, I feel mesh back chairs are my choice for a desk chair, despite some smaller gripes with this one. My monitor stand is the Finch dual monitor stand, and it's a must buy in my opinion. It is 42.5 inches wide and a little over 9 inches deep. I felt this was the perfect monitor stand for my setup. Shout out to Nay Tesseract for showing this in her desk setup, as I don't think I would have included a monitor stand, especially not this one, without seeing her setup. The 2 tiers of shelving is incredible if you're someone who wants some more storage on their desk for easy to access things, like spots for smaller devices such as a tablet or laptop, a place on the bottom shelf to hold something like your phone or a couple pens, but clearly I use a wireless charger instead and have my Stream Deck to the right. I do intend on eventually having my iPad and my MacBook Pro as a part of my desk setup eventually, as I don't utilize those devices nearly as much as my PC. You can also put things underneath the monitor stand, so you technically have 3 different levels to place things. Absolutely would recommend it. Speaking of which, the wireless charger in my setup is the Anker 313 wireless charger. It's nothing special as it's a 10 watt wireless charger, no MagSafe support, and no power brick with it, but it gets the job done and it matches my color scheme. I can also make use of standby with my phone by laying it on its side, so I can see things such as my battery or the time on it. Then of course my white Elgato Stream Deck Mark II is off to the right of it. Admittedly, I'm no expert with this little device, but having some quick stats of things like the battery life on my keyboard and mouse, seeing CPU, RAM, and GPU usage, and some quick shortcuts are very handy. While it's primarily advertised for streamers, I've seen it be used for macros and shortcuts for editing programs, so I definitely plan on expanding how I use it. Now for my keyboard and mouse, I'm using the Logitech G915 TKL and the Logitech Pro X Superlight. Both are wireless and connect via USB receivers, which makes cable management a lot easier. At least until they need charging. Luckily, I set up a retractable cable system, so I can pull out a charging cable when needed and keep it hidden when I don't. Performance wise, both are fantastic for gaming, and I don't notice any input lag. My only gripe, the white coating on both can fade or get dirty over time, which is especially noticeable on the mouse where my hand rests. But hey, that comes with the territory. Still, they look clean and perform great, so I can't complain too much. To round out the rest of my peripherals, let's talk audio. My speakers are the Logitech Z207 Bluetooth speakers, and the oldest piece of my setup, my Blue Snowball Ice microphone, which I've been using this whole time to record these voiceovers. The Z207s can connect via Bluetooth or a good old 3.5mm jack. They're compact, sound decent, and most importantly, they just work. I think you guys can tell I just stick with Logitech for my peripherals, but hey, there's nothing wrong with consistency. But as for the mic I'm using, I'm not necessarily in a rush to upgrade it as of yet, but this mic has been going strong for at least 9 years and hasn't kicked the bucket yet. Though at the same time, I'm more than sure there's been better mics out there since 2015, and I'd be very open to upgrading at some point. Now I know some of you might be wanting to know what monitors I'm using or my PC specs, but rest assured, we're finally at that part of the video. I promise. So let's start with the monitors. My main monitor is the Samsung Odyssey G6 OLED, and honestly, it's my favorite monitor I've ever owned. A stunning 27-inch OLED panel at 1440p and 360Hz. Though I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't prefer 4K 240Hz, since I rarely hit that max refresh rate. I do baby the monitor a little bit, as I do not want to burn in so early, as this monitor costs a pretty penny. Anything you throw at this monitor will display in clear and vibrant glory, which I hope so for the price. It has built-in burn-in protection, like recalibrating when the display goes to sleep. As long as you're not leaving static images up for hours on end, I feel you should be fine. My only complaint with the monitor is just with the power button on the back. I feel I could press it multiple times and it just wants to be stubborn. My secondary monitor is an Acer XV272U 27-inch 1440p 144Hz monitor. Why do monitors have such weird meaningless names? But this one used to be my primary monitor before I repurposed it as a secondary monitor. Plus it's my first time having a vertical monitor in my setup. Psst, follow my socials and join my Discord server, links in the description. I've tried stack monitors and even gave ultrawides a shot, but personally, I just couldn't get into them. I gave it time, tried different setups, but not everything supports 21:9 properly. For a more consistent experience, I just stick with 16:9. And finally, the piece de resistance. While I wouldn't exactly call a 4-year-old build that, my current PC build that powers everything I do. It features a Ryzen 7 5800X CPU, 32GB of RAM, an RTX 3070 Founders Edition, a total of 10TB across 3 different drives, on an Asus Prime X570 motherboard, and it's all within a Fractal Design Meshify C case. But all the remaining specs I didn't cover or specify will be on screen regardless. This is actually my second PC build, and I've been running it since November of 2020. Going into 2025, this build still holds up well, though I've had to start turning down some settings in modern games, and the 8GB of VRAM on the 3070 can be a pain in some titles. The only upgrades I made since building it have been storage related. Originally I ran a 1TB NVMe SSD for the boot drive, and had the 4TB hard drive, but I later upgraded to a 2TB NVMe drive as the main drive, and bought the 4TB NVMe as my game drive. There's definitely temptation to build a new PC this year and go all out, but I'll wait to see if AMD's upcoming CPUs are worth it before making any moves. Not trying to foreshadow a future video or anything. Well, that concludes my minimal desk setup as of early 2025. Thank you so much for sticking till the end. If all goes well and I can continue this content creation drive even further, expect more videos to come out from me in the near future. I intend on making more tech related videos and likely dive into gaming related content. Especially when the Switch 2 comes out later this year. I'd love to make videos on it. I'm JustSomeTechie. Catch you all in the next one. See ya then.